Good evening and welcome back to Let's Play Deadlight. So, as promised, we're going to take a look at the journal that Randall's created from all of his memories, and then we'll look at the handhelds as well. Now, one thing that made this easier is when you go to play, you can go to select scene. It tells you what percentage you found of the various hidden things in each level, and then even more than that, like you can go to like chapter by chapter, scene by scene, and it tells you for each one. You can see like the little magnifying glass, 3 out of 3. We found 1 out of 1 diary pages. So that really helps you a lot if you're playing this game yourself and you want to find all of the things. I didn't initially find all of them myself. I missed the 2 last video games, obviously. I missed, I think, about 5 memories. Some of them were IDs and some of them were little things that Randall comments on. But I went through on my own and I got all of them so that I can show you that. So let's go. Randall's memories. Hidden Secrets is what they're. So the diary we saw, because we found all those pages just playing the game. Hidden Secrets is this journal he's created out of the things we found. So here we have the photo of my wife and daughter, a happy moment that we had in the past. Honestly, I don't like to look at it. Then the very first thing that we picked up, the curl of sweet red gold, my last memory of Carla. So that's the bit of her hair we got. The IDs that we found here as well. The ID of a stranger, D.R. Berkowitz. A fragment of the medical report about the disease that the scientists of the Safe Point were investigating. All their attempts to search for a cure have proven to be a failure. Brochure about the new flu and ways to prevent it. New illnesses were always surprising us, but there had always been a cure. That was the past. To prevent the flu, wash your hands frequently with soap and water. Cover your mouth and nose with a tissue when you sneeze and cough. If you are sick, stay home. Do not go to work. Do not self-medicate. Consult with your doctor. Symptoms: fever above 100.4 degrees, frequent cough, headache, muscle pain, general discomfort, nausea and diarrhea. A music box reminds me of my past, memories of a forgotten time with my wife and daughter. And let's actually go. Ooh, a piece of Stella's frayed sweater. If I hadn't gotten there, if I hadn't gotten there in time, I can't imagine what those soldiers would have done to her. So that was the bit that we got way at the end. Yeah, in his book, he's put it up here towards the front. All right, let's see here. The investigation by Dr. Mark Luciano has led us to find similarities between patients 12 and 38. They have survived over 36 hours incubated from the disease, showing resistance to it, thanks to the medical attention they were given. But despite the resistance displayed by said individuals, the sick have returned to that horrible state in which the doctor must carry out the sacrifice. Alright, what else we got here? The last entry written in the diary of one of the survivors who hid in the underground station. It seems that they lost hope that the army could liberate them. I can't read that. The ground shakes, as does my... waiting? I am writing in... I am writing in the dark. It looks like the attacks... something the night. Continue during the night. We have decided to hide in the depths of the subway in an old station. There are 4 of us. We have about 12 days worth of supplies, water for less than a week. My hands shake as I write this. I know that the earth will protect us, but I must... something that the military can face us all. I must be sure the military can free us all. Okay. Cursive. That can be rough to read. Green Beret's military patch off Ben's windbreaker. Good way to never forget my only friend and hope. J.L. Dahmer's ID. A Congressional Medal of Honor from the United States of America. That crazy old man was a war hero a long time ago. Next page. An air freshener. It smells nice. Reminds me of the forest, like the one I had to leave behind in Canada. Color Christmas, a tape of children's stories I found in an abandoned cassette player. It won't help me very much, but I'm sure that some of the stories will bring to mind pleasant memories of my daughter. Dante Alighieri, The Divine Comedy. Through me the way into the suffering city, through me the way to the eternal pain, through me the way that runs among the lost. Justice urged on my higher artificer. My maker was divine authority, the highest wisdom and the primal lore. Before me nothing but eternal things were made, and I endure eternally. Abandon every hope, ye who enter here. Page torn from a book, there's a poem written, which we just read. Photo of an armed young soldier with a rifle in the middle of a tropical jungle. The image is somewhat worn out, but the inscription can be read, Da Nang 68. So this was the rat. This is E. Theodore Game. A paper with a handwritten map to the safe point. It marks some Seattle streets and the location of the safe point, but it's nearly incomprehensible. A report about the protocol for military action at the refuge that was built in Seattle Stadium. It seems that they kept the last provisions in the city here. It was something that the military had to defend with their lives. Confidential, April 1st, 86. April 1st, April Fool's Day, huh? Attention Sergeant Lewis T. Anderson. As you well know, the shelter in the south of Seattle has a rudimentary, although effective, defense system in case of emergency. The supplies accumulated by the state security forces, as well as by the many assistance organizations that work with it, are in such need in these precarious times that we must guard them, even with our lives. For this nation's security, I entrust you to safeguard the supplies, just as you have protected the shelter in use at the old stadium. I wish you the best in your new post. Discipline and obedience. Semper Fidelis. Sincerely, Lieutenant J.J. Marini. An absurd letter of the doctor who was investigating the illness in the hospital. According to his words, the new illness makes us immortal. The new disease makes us immortal. What is this? Someday, very soon, I will something eternal. Midnight is a symbol of birth. With a full moon, I will become part of medical history. A disgusting necklace made with rat bones. This is one of the ones that I missed playing through. This was in the rats area. This could be the favorite jewel of an evil old man, like this man who is testing me. Henry L. Lucas. R.T. Chase. The photo of a sick woman. There's also a boy in it. She's lying in the hospital bed. According to the date of the photo, it seems that she died before the catastrophe. So that's the rat's son and the son's mother. A.C. Warnos. Another piece of the page is ripped from the book of the poem that marks the limits of the rat's territory. There's a poem written. What a marvel it appeared to me when I beheld three faces on his head. So, the Emperor of the Kingdom, Dolores or Dolores? Meh. From his... what does that say? Gold... some kind of... his something breast issued forth, issued from the ice, and better with the giant I compare. Tiger do the giants with those arms of his. Consider now how great must be that whole which unto such a part conforms itself, where he is fair once, as he now is foul, and lifted up his brow against his Maker, well may proceed from him all tribulation. Oh, what a marvel it appeared to me, would I beheld three faces on his head. Alright. A $100 bill with a caricature of Benjamin Franklin. Money doesn't have any value anymore, but the drawing on his face is funny. Sam's badge. He was a sad old cop from Vancouver. A photo of the military base safety point as it was in 1962. During the Cold War, all those missiles, which are not used anymore, had clear destinations. A.H. DeSalvo. A.H. Fish. A page copied from an old general medicine book. Some fragments are highlighted. Direct contact with the infected body fluids like the blood, the saliva, the urine. Oh, I don't think I can read this. The symptoms vary in the beginning. This is the middle paragraph. High fever, deep something. I can't. That's hard to make out. Couple's picture, they look happy under a number combination, 1212. There's something written on the other side. Honey, remember those holidays? Love, Lou. A folder of the Arcadia Protocol containing the escape plans of the soldiers' base. Also, it contains an alternative escape plan utilizing a sailboat with supplies at Dock C. A letter from one of the pilots responsible for the bombing of the city to his father. The letter speaks of hopes and desperate words that never reach their destination. April 10th. Dear Dad, I tried to call home in the last few days, but it looks like this warrant, I don't know, something completely out of, I can't make that out too, it's so small. Carla L. Homolka. The receipt of a complaint submitted to the Seattle Police Department. It warns the authorities about the ongoing threats of the neighbor on the 3rd floor. The plaintiff arrived at the stated date, and numerous death threats made last Tuesday by the defendant, Thomas J. Kalstroa, same building as the plaintiff, apartment 8. The events placed the neighbor from the 3rd floor, something about the defendant, in the home of the plaintiff, as well as his family, numerous insults. Defendant, somebody attempted attack with a bladed weapon before it could be completed. Defendant was stopped by, according to other occupants of said building, prior incidents have occurred, although none were reported to authorities. Moreover, the plaintiff reported something hygienic and sanitation conditions of apartment 8. Alright. O. Elwood Toole. The watch of the doctor who embraced immortality. It stopped just after midnight at 12:02 a.m. A cutting of the West Seattle Herald, February 8, 1986, speaks about an imminent move of a famous comet close to the Earth. The astronomic world surrenders to the Halley's phenomenon. An old illustration of the 9 circles of hell from Dante's Divine Comedy. It seems that the classic poem served as inspiration during the construction of Ratman's Refuge. Robert C. Bundy. Blue handkerchief, there's something written on it. The new law. A cutting of the Washington Today of 1962, which speaks of the end of the Cuban Missile Crisis. Kennedy surrendered then to the communist threat. Now we are paying for his cowardice. The dismantling of Soviet bases in Cuba ends the crisis. At 3 in the afternoon, Moscow radio announced that the head of the Soviet state has sent a new letter to the President of the United States in which he communicates that the government has ordered the dismantling of the missile bases in Cuba and the return of all material to the USSR. President Khrushchev reiterates that the USSR is prepared to continue a dialogue in order to decrease the tension between the Warsaw Pact and NATO. President Kennedy, for his part, sent the following message to Khrushchev. What first needs to be done is to cease the installation of guided missiles and disable all weapons down in Cuba under the supervision of the United Nations. Rosary of wooden beads has a cross of white ivory on the end. Christian would sew it into his skin in order not to go to the hell. Polaroid with an image of a boy, the teenage son of the rat. We were all rebels without reason at that age. Postcard with an image of Eiffel Tower. Woman writes to her sister from France. This was a long time before there was news about the catastrophe on the other side of the ocean. An advertising brochure from a religious sect on an island in the Pacific. An enigmatic woman in black calls to believers, build your ark and visit paradise before it's too late. Come to our sacred Arcadia. Arcadia, find God within our community. In the warm waters of the Pacific, the fellows of the New Legion find pleasure in life within heaven or earth. The community for all believers. Man and animal live in harmony in the light of the Holy Scriptures. Our Lady, the spiritual leader, guides us to those sinners. God will lead the dead, so that it will be the dead who will be purified. For those who live in the New Legion, angels will envy them, as it is the angels who are with us. That might not be envy. God walks with us, legionnaires of the light. Within the soul of the believers lives the new law of the arrival. Let's build our ark and let's visit paradise before it's too late. Come to our sacred Arcadia. Donations and registrations will be authorized during the spring of 1986. 134 Peaches Street, Hawaii. Little tape for a recording machine. Under a blood spot, there's a date written. April 1986. April 12th, specifically. K.A. Bianchi. Another one of those damned government pamphlets. Quarantine. All the warnings in the world couldn't save them. Area under quarantine. Extreme force will be used in defense of this area. J.W. Gacy. A registration for the plans that the rebel soldiers had in order to control the city and the survivors that reached the city. In the plans, it can be seen how the soldiers pretended to create a new order of terror. It's the origin of the new law. Let's see. The new military of the city of Seattle unanimously agrees a series of emergency measures. Maintenance of the something in the city, use of the morgue, transfer of supplies to the stadium, use of the safe, use as a secondary base, transfer of the survivors. Yeah, I can't read all that. Clipping from the magazine Science and Medicine that talks about the cloning of human beings. One of the ethical fears that the article contemplates is the impoverishment of our genetic heritage, even more than it already has. I can't read that. A testament letter written by one of the apartment block residents. It says, among other things, that he decided to blow up the building's boiler to kill all his infected neighbors. You do not have to be Nostradamus to know that humanity has come to an end. Pray there is no today there is no sense in continuing to fight for the something it looks like absence that screams to end it once and all loud and clear. Tonight I am going up to the top floor of this building to blow up the gas furnace. I hope this entire city hears the blast, or what remains of it. I want something to come with me to the other. Remember my name. Yes, my name. Only them, the dead, will know who I am. Alright. Arthur L. Allen. Robert W. Picton. There it is, wrapped in blood-stained paper, the half-heart pendant of my daughter Lydia. The paper has a message in childish handwriting. Follow the path that you showed me. Oh, and it says, I love you on the left side in the gold. Another page ripped from the poem book that I found in the maintenance tunnel. There's a poem written. The land of tears gave forth a blast of wind and fulminated a vermilion light, which overmastered in me ever since. This way there never passes a good sun. And hence, Charon doth complain of thee. Well, maybe thou know now what his speech imports. This being finished, all the dark champagne, all the dusk champagne, trembled so violently that of that terror the recollection bathes me still with sweat. The land of tears gave forth a blast, flamed and fulminated in a vermilion light, which overmastered me in every sense. And as the man whom I can't quite see the rest. Cutting of the Seattle Reporter, February 21st, 1986. Caution, the Soviet Union in orbit. Talks about the space station that the Ruskies just launched into space. Warning, USSR in orbit. Soviet space station Mir was launched into space with resounding success according to the authorities of our communist neighbor. And the rest of this is a little too small. A sheet with a list of names of the survivors who have reached the safe point. It looks like men have not been well received inside these walls. Stella's name is the last one on the list. Yep, Stella Patterson. I think that's Patterson. There she is, down at the bottom, age 21. Michael K. Scott was 23, dead. John Doyle Jr., 28. I can't quite read the next one, 35. Someone E. Campbell, 45, dead. Robert. Alright, that's enough of that. And that's all of them. So, those are the hidden secrets in Randall's journal. Now let's look at the handhelds. So we found the first one in the playthrough. The second one, Sport Daisy, this is in Act 2 when you're going to the stadium. You go in and you have to remember they've got Bob Parker being tortured in the middle, so you got to go down underneath and work your way up to the other side to get to him. And when you get up on the other side on the right, I remember there was a spot where I thought, oh, it looks almost like I could jump up here, but I tried to jump once and missed and said, oh, I guess not. Well, you can jump up there. There's kind of a ledge on the left, and you need to, well, not really a ledge, but sort of like a little slightly higher spot. Stand on that, just take a running jump over to the right. If it takes a couple of tries, just keep going. Eventually Randall can make that jump. So then you go up to the right. There's either another stamina upgrade or a health upgrade back there. It was something else. Just keep going up and right as far as you can, and then eventually you get to the very top and you need to go over left. So pretty much like all the way back left. I think you go even further than where Ben is down on the bottom, but you're up in the catwalks now, going along the rafters, and all the way at the end, there's the handheld. Now, Madness Mansion, that's in Act 3. This is in the second building that starts to fall apart when you go into it. So there's the first part you have to go through, you gotta run, you gotta like wall jump and move quick because the pieces of the ceiling are coming down at you. This is the second building that pulls that crap on you. So you just go all the way to the side and there's a ladder against the right wall that you jump onto, and you have to hang there and then, start climbing up from there, and that's the way to safety. Well, if you just drop directly below the ladder, there's a little vent in the wall that you can climb into, and Madness Mansion is back there. So let's take a look at these. We'll start with the first one. Raven Thunder's Rock Legend. Find out what it feels like to be a true star and become a rock legend with Seattle's favorite rock band in Raven's Thunder Rock Legend. Play as Vince Idle, the band's lead guitar, in this high-voltage, amazing handheld video game. Raven Thunder's Rock Legend features amazing graphics, music, and real sound effects. And we need to beat a high score of 30, ideally. Let's do it. Okay, so... what do we do? Oh, I think I'm... Is it just going? I have no clue what's going on here. Oh, okay. Well, wait, don't get hit by the notes or do? Okay, maybe we don't. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I see. Okay, so then I hit the button like I'm playing it when the note gets to me. Oops, that one nailed me. Oh, someone threw a bottle at me. I think I'm done. Get up. Okay, I'm not controlling it now. Now I am. Alright, so that's what that is. That's a little better. Okay, I'm not really doing good at this, and it's not really that fun to watch either, so that's enough of that. Sport Daisy. Time to work out. The Kenneth Brothers proudly presents Sport Daisy, the newest, latest, and best hyper-realistic handheld electronic toy marvel made in Japan by Tokugawa Limited. Show the ripped fitness instructor Daisy Sportin your thumbs of steel. It's like being in a real fitness class. Uh-huh. No tights required. Follow the rhythm and mimic Daisy's movements using up to 4 buttons. Pump it up. So, okay. Oh, there we go. Alright. I have no idea if I'm doing anything right. Am I playing? Oh! Okay, now I think she's starting, maybe? Let's do it. She can do 2 at once, that's tricky. she's pretty buff, huh? We'll see if I can actually beat this one. Although I've got... Oops! Now I messed up. Let's get this cursor out of the way. Come on. Alright. Does it have an end, or does it just go on forever? Okay. The next time she does her little thumbs up on the side, I think we're going to be done with this game. Oh, I earned my player back. Then I messed up. Sorry, Daisy. Okay, actually, we're going to go ahead and stop there. Alright. Sport Daisy. And you get an achievement for beating the high scores on all of these. So off screen I will go back and play more of Raven Thunder's Rock Legend, just because I want the achievement, but... And on to Madness Mansion. Madness Mansion, the ultimate video game experience based on the creepy pulp classic by Earlier and Zahn. Your eyes will melt and your brain will liquefy. Of fun! Help the investigator to stop the spectral cultists. Don't let them to light the candles, or a dormant power older than man will be awakened. Action, adventure, darkness, unbelievable color graphics, creepy enemies. Play it now. Lose your mind later. Alright? So, let's take a look at our controls here. Okay. Arrow keys, space. Oop. Okay, so I'm putting a flashlight on ghosts. Okay, and I think it's just the top screen that matters. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, I can go down. Oh, now I feel silly. Oh, down the stairs. Duh. Oh, yeah, there's something tentacly coming out of the pit. I think I'm done. I think they got me. Cthulhu! Ba-ba-ba-bom. Alright, where's the score counter on this? Oh, there it is. We're at 22. So I guess this mostly is just included here because the game is set in the 80s, and this is the kind of game you could have played back then. Gaming has come a long way. So this is the kind of thing that, you know, for some players might be nostalgic. Remembering how it used to be. Okay, that's enough of that. Alright. So there we go. That was Deadlight. We saw the whole journal. We saw all the handhelds. Made it through the game. This was a really interesting game. I'm still... From everything the game showed us, it just seems to me like they're kind of showing us you can just take it as presented, that it's just, okay, it was 1986 and there was this outbreak with the shadows and the zombies, and it is what it is. And that the big revelation was that Randall had chosen to end the wife and daughter as they asked, instead of forcing them to survive on, and then he kind of redeemed himself at the end with Stella. But I just can't help feeling like there's got to be more to it, because there were hints along the way in the diary that Randall's been very unbalanced all along. I don't know. It seems to me that the bigger revelation would have been that this is all in his head in the first place, and especially the dream when he's saying, this is when the shadows first came, and there's these just gigantic, larger-than-life shadows. Like, I really think all of that, the mental instability he's showing, I think that this is something within his head, and that something else terrible maybe happened to his wife and daughter, but I don't know, then that theory doesn't fit as well with the ending with Stella. Like, well, what's that? If there's not really shadows, then what is Stella? Is she just someone he made up to relieve his guilt? So I'm really conflicted. I'm not quite sure how to take this story, because it nags me too much to think that it just is what it seems to be. There were those hints that there's more going on. So, very interesting. This is one that it's going to come back to me from time to time, and I'm going to keep thinking about that and what I think about that story, what was really going on. So, go ahead and wind the episode down here. As always, please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this. Head on back to my channel. There's a bunch of other Let's Plays you can take a look at, and more to come.